So how the APMC especially started benefiting, the middlemen. So when the APMC was enacted by the various states in the middle 1960s, the country, was facing a serious food shortage and desperately seeking to achieve a breakthrough in the, food production. So it was strongly felt that it would be possible to attain and sustain a food security without, giving incentives to farmers, and encourage the farmers to invent new technology or adopt new technology and make investments in modern inputs. Okay, so this was done, so all the malpractices were eradicated from the markets, and they needed a system where to, where you can promote them from exploiting by the middlemen, and the commission agents also. And this is because of this, this was APMC act was a technology led outgrowth or output growth, resulted in increase of farm incomes, then making farmers less dependent on the trading class, for credit and cash requirement. And this APMC act also gave farmers the freedom to choose markets and buyers for their produce. So then after this APMC act, there came a thing called as Green Revolution era. So we will talk about the Green Revolution era. So just let me rub this, because this is also very important. So let us speak about the Green Revolution era. Okay, now this happened in 1970s and 1980s. The spread and the success of Green Revolution during the 1970s and 1980s, it led to an increase in the, so it led to an increase in political power of the farming class. So there was a farming class, and their dominance in policy making. So once they became strong, they started interfering in the policy making also, and this was reflected in the creation and strengthening of farmer friendly institutions and a policy which was favorable to the farmers. Okay, so marketing institutions like market committees, then state level agriculture marketing boards, and many others in the public and the cooperative sectors served the interest of the farming community. And then came in 1991 the entry of middlemen's post. Okay, so let us write that also. So then came the entry of middleman's post 1991. So over the time, what happened as the country moved closer to food self sufficiency, and public policy began losing its focus, the marketing system and the marketing institutions were very inefficient, and there was a bureaucratic control, and there was a lot of politicization, and there was a lot of interference of political leaders. So the growth in the market facilities did not keep pace with the growth in the market arrivals, and forcing the producers to seek the help of middlemen. So that is why the middlemen were introduced in 1991, and there was this reversal. So let me write down here so you can understand. The growth in market facilities did not keep pace with the growth in market arrivals, forcing producers to seek the help of middlemen, which became, so they became dependent, so which in turn led to dependence on them. So there was a reversal. So there was also a reversal of the credit situation. So the situation of credit also became absolutely opposite after, and when this has happened after 1991, so making the farmers more dependent on the commission agents and traders for loan. So this became absolutely opposite of what we had done till before 1991, and the trading class quickly started regaining again and back to square one. So farmers came down and the traders came up in the power. Okay, and taking advantage of this attitude of state governments, so state governments also were not helping the farmers and they were promoting the traders. Okay, and the trading class also completely dominated the mandis of each state APMC. So the middlemen successfully they turned the marketing policies to their benefits, and they were the dictators. They became to the producers, and they challenged, or they pushed the modern capital from entering into the agricultural marketing. So let us see some examples of this middleman. Okay, let me just clear this. So I'll give you some examples so that it is easy for you to remember. So examples. Okay, first is increasing. So the commission rates of the Arthiyas were increased. So increasing the commission rates of Arthiyas without any justification. So there was no justification here also. Then the second example is rejecting direct payment to producers, which would bypass commission agents. Then the third, determining prices through non-transparent methods. So these were the three examples through which we can see that the middlemen had dominated. So the various problems which were facing the agriculture marketing system were summarized by the 12th Plan Working Group on Agriculture Marketing. So Planning Commission in 2011, they understood these various problems. So let us see what are the problems they found out. Okay, so was summarized by the 12th Plan Working Group on agriculture. So plenty of questions come on this, that who are the people who changed these plans, agriculture. So agricultural marketing, and they were also called as Planning Commission 2011. So to the first problem they found is there were too many intermediaries, resulting in high cost of goods and services. There was no infrastructure, so inadequate infrastructure. And what was this required for? Storage, sorting, grading, and post harvest management. Okay, then they also found that the private sector unwilling, so they were unwilling to invest in logistics or infrastructure under the current or prevailing conditions. So this was the third point. Let's continue with the fourth point. Okay. Okay. The fourth one was price setting. So price setting was also important. So price setting mechanism, and it was not transparent. So not transparent. Then fifth was ill equipped, and there was no trained staff, so untrained mandi staff. So they didn't have the proper things or amenities, and they were not trained also to do the work. Yes, there was no market information also, so market information not easily found. Seventh, yes, ECA. So what is ECA? They are called as essential commodities like sugar, rice. So Essential Commodities Act gave free movement, storage, and transport of produce. Okay, so that is what also was a problem, because only for these essential commodities there was there. For the rest of the commodities it was not there. So what was the laws regulating the agriculture marketing in India? So let us see the laws. So because of this the laws were created. So let's see the first law. Okay, so the first law, let's write here, laws regulating agriculture marketing in India. So first we will talk about is the ECA, that is the essential commodity. So almost all agricultural, so previously this act was not there, and that is why this act was created. Such as, what are the essential commodities? Let us write one by one. Cereals, pulses, edible oil seeds, oil cakes, edible oils, Raw cotton. So yes, raw cotton is also an essential commodity. Raw cotton. Sugar, as I had mentioned previously, gur, that is jaggery, and jute are all included in the list of essential commodities. So what does this act provide? So this act provides license, permits, regulations, and orders. Okay. So under this act, it is basically for these things this EC is required. Let me just quickly rub this very important point. So the act, let me write, it provides, as I said, instruments like licenses, then permits, then regulations and order for the following things. So let us see the first thing. So yes, the first thing is for price control. They provide licenses, permits and regulations and orders. Then second is storage. Then third is stocking limits. Then fourth is movement of produce. Then fifth is for distribution, ECA is required. Sixth is for disposal, for throwing off also. And 7 is for sale. Then 8 is for compulsory purchase by the government, and which is the sale which is levied or which is put on to the government. So that also is there. Okay. So this was the first license. Let us see the second license, that is Agriculture Produce Grading and Marketing Act. Okay, so let me quickly rub this also. Okay. So yes, Agriculture Produce Grading and Marketing Act. Okay, so now this act, it defines the standards. So let me write, defines standards of quality, and also it prescribes grade specifications. So prescribes grade specifications for a number of products. So the act authorizes an agriculture marketing advisor. So there is an agriculture marketing advisor in each state to grant a certificate of authorization to persons or corporate bodies who agree to grade their agriculture produces as prescribed. And when you're going outside also for good quality and all, that is it is better to get this certificate, so that you can sell your goods in local market and international market. And besides that, there is a quality also, so everybody will purchase it. That is why most of the farmers will definitely want the marketing advisor to grant a certificate of authorizations to persons or corporate bodies to who agree to grade these agricultural produces as prescribed by it. So what is the grade specification in India? Let me see. So there are AgMark, so very important. So AgMark is a grade specifications, and this AgMark specification is for 212 agricultural products. But in spite of that, the use and awareness of it have remained low, despite the understanding also this has happened, and that is why, this, because of this problem only, still, besides of having 212 agriculture products, still people are not known to it. Okay, so now let us talk about the crop insurance in India and the role of private sectors in insurance market. So let me just quickly wrap this. Okay, so as I told you also that, the entry of private sector in agriculture marketing started after the liberalization policy, and on 15th February 2002, which removed the licensing requirements and all restrictions on buying, stocking and transporting specified commodities such as, wheat, then rice, then oil seeds and sugar. So they were further decontrolled. So they were not coming under control, and private sectors, this is the time when they entered the market. And similarly, the dairy sector was also, liberalized through various amendments to milk and, milk product order beginning in the 1992. So the main purpose of these changes was to allow the increased participation by the private sectors in marketing the agricultural commodities. So in response to this, the private sector investments in the dairy sector have increased. So if you see, so many are there, Britannia and all have, have increased into the dairy produce, and it has been a healthy competition between the cooperatives and the private sector. But however, the experience of liberalizing the grain trade has not been very encouraging. So let me see what. Let us see. Now, the 2002 change in the ECA, that is Essential Commodities Act, attracted big domestic and multinational players. So which were the players? Let's see, like ITC, Cargill,